And at nrgfoam.com for more information. NRG Spray Foam. Building green, living green.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNLY 91.1 FM.
We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station, mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY New Waverly, Texas, 91.1 FM, The Boss.
The program presented are submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNLY 91.1 FM and its affiliates.
Good morning, and God bless you. We are having a terrific Thursday here at KNLY 91.1 The Boss. I'm your host, Orlando Daniels, of Today's Entrepreneur, and I'm always excited about my guests because I have the experience and the pleasure of helping them share what God has gotten them pregnant with. So this morning's guest is Miss Christy Dupuy, right? Am I saying it correct? Dupuy.
Yeah.
Good. I want to make sure I say it correctly. I get all the okay. Hard last names.
It is not an easy
now,
one, for
we're
sure.
going to talk about, her journey into not only establishing her business, but the expansion of it, because she started out with expressive interiors, and I want to go from there, Christy.
Yes.
So introduce yourself a little bit more. Say your name correctly.
Christy Dupuy, Expressive Interiors or Expressive Builders. That's
Okay.
where we're progressing now. So I've been in the industry for a long time. Even when I was in my 20s, I worked for construction companies, HVAC companies, and I just have progressed into this great business that I have now. So.
Now, you may mention, in your early 20s, but I want to share with them because, I like to be intimate in relations to getting to know our guests,
Yes.
or the guests that I bring here.
Yes.
And being able to talk with you, you share with me your childhood, and I think they need to know where it really started.
Yeah, so I was always artistic. My mom was very artistic. She owned a catering business, and she did amazing weddings for tons of people, and her hobby was painting. And so most people had, just store-bought art on the walls, but in my house, every art piece was something that she hand-painted. And I never really knew how amazing that was until I was an adult. And she allowed me to paint my first mural on the wall when I was like 13 years old, and she never even thought twice about it. I just said, I want to paint this mural of horses running across the stream, and she said, go for it. So.
When you have the support of family, friends, for
Yeah.
you have your husband, which, I just love him. He's a remarkable gentleman in the sense of being your cheerleader.
Yes.
He is Mr. Pom Pom.
Yes.
And so I like that. He immediately walked up to me last night at the BizConnect mixer. He was like, hey, you're going to have my wife on the show. And I was like, yes, and I know who you are as well. You're Mr. Cheerleader.
Yes,
and you're her
yes.
biggest fan. And so
Yeah,
it's good.
yes.
But your mother, had no idea that she was setting you up for success.
Yeah,
Here.
no, she
And-
had no idea, and I had no idea. I mean, we really, neither one of us. She just knew that was something that I loved to do. I would spend hours upon hours in my room working on art projects, and so she just, she didn't push me, which was, sometimes whenever you have a talent like that, people push, and they can push the joy out of it, and she never did that. She just allowed me to be creative in my own way and how I wanted to be, and that's amazing now.
To hear you say that, I started thinking about once I did a teaching once, and I talked about Samson and how he, his parents both, mainly his father, asked the Lord what would be his mode of life, but also his vocation.
Right.
And we have the tendency, parents, have the tendency to try to get their children to
Right.
adopt.
Yeah.
Or they try to push their childhood
Yeah.
dreams and goals and things on their children instead
Yeah.
of allowing them to come into or allowing God to literally navigate us
Right.
or help us to become. I tell people, God knows how to put us in the right house
Yeah.
with the right parents. And sometimes we find fault with where we grew up and, who reared us or raised us and all the things that have transpired in our lives. But we
Right.
don't realize that it's literally positioning us so that we can position others. And so
Yeah.
when we talk about expressive interiors and now expressive builders,
Yes.
we know that you already got your niche on decorating. Talking with you earlier, I asked you one question. When you walk in a room, what happens? And you just immediately start sharing.
Yes.
What sets expressive interiors as well as expressive builders apart from any other business that's doing what you do?
Well, with the remodeling and the home building, we don't just take the client and say, here you need 5 light fixtures, you need 3 plumbing fixtures, you need to pick out tile. We actually do that work for you. So we go out, we shop, we look for tile that we think is going to work well in your house, but also works with what your desires and your feelings are for that space. And we pick out lighting fixtures, door knobs, door hinges, every decision that has to be made in the construction process or the remodeling process. We do that legwork for you. We go out and we will bring you 5 samples of tile and we'll talk about it with you. We'll go over it. How is this going to coordinate with the wall color, with the tile, with the plumbing fixtures, the lighting fixtures, everything, so that it coordinates really well together. And if you don't like any of those selections, we go back and we keep shopping. And we will do it until we get it right.
You do the work. You
Yes.
literally make it easy. But now you're in this expansion.
Yes.
You're experiencing growth, and it's wonderful. Growth is always wonderful. But moving from interior design to now building homes,
Yes.
how is that transition, going for you?
It's amazing. I mean, the house we're gonna that we're breaking ground on this year is almost $1 million home, and it's going to be one of the most amazing houses in Houston. It's in Meyerland, and it's a way to combat the flooding.
Okay.
It was a Harvey flood. The house had to be completely destroyed down to nothing, and now we're going to be building a pre-engineered metal building. The first floor won't start until 10 feet above the ground. So this client will never have to worry about flooding ever again. So we've taken that worry away from her.
Wow, you are bringing liberty and freedom, not just in the building of homes,
Yeah.
and we know about the flooding
Yeah,
here
yeah.
in Texas, but also being able to build a home
Yeah.
and then also offer the services to help them,
Yeah.
decorate. That is just a whole nother niche in relations to what you're doing.
Yeah.
That most people hadn't considered. Some businesses probably have.
Yeah.
But you are just the one-stop shop.
We really are, and it's so funny that you talk about my mom and how instrumental she was, but I just now thought of this just at this very second. Was my mom was a one-stop shop for weddings. She basically said the only thing you couldn't get from her was a wedding dress. She did invitations, flowers, cakes, everything. And so it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, that has been instilled in me, is to be able to provide for my clients the way that my mom provided for her customers.
Life can be, within itself, we all can agree and attest that it can be chaotic.
Yeah.
And so when you find someone that can come in and simplify
Yeah.
what, can be challenging, and it doesn't discredit anybody's ability.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
believe that we all are graced and called to do something. And when you identify with what you're called to do, what your grace is, and I always say this often, especially here, that your peace is where your passion is.
Yeah.
And whatever you're passionate about, that's what you're going to pursue. But I love the fact that it's not just about dollars and cents for you. You genuinely desire to see the best with your customers
Yes.
and your clients. And so I commend you, and as
you.
well as your husband, because you all definitely know how to work. And you're the balance, because you do not only entrepreneur, but you're a wife and mother. You
Yes.
are some of everything.
Yeah.
I saw you last night working. You had a table at Disconnect
I did.
mixer, and you were, you got a voice this morning because you
Yes,
was using.
I know, barely, right? After I was screaming yesterday over everybody, I was hoping that I was going to be able to come in here and still talk.
You're doing an amazing job. Let me ask you this, because I think people want to know: is there a job too small or too large?
No, there's not. I mean, everybody deserves to have a well-designed space or home, whether your budget's $5,000, $10,000 or millions of dollars. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I have great subcontractors. I've got great support. I've got a great project manager, and I really have and support outside of my team. I have, my husband, my parents, everybody around me that cares about me really supports what I'm doing, and so I make it happen no matter what the job is.
Let me ask you this, because when we consider, someone that goes out and some of your work is up here.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
But in going out and choosing, and sometimes a customer just don't know.
Right.
At that moment when the customer don't know,
Yes.
is that when Christy kicks in and she says, and you start giving them different things to choose from?
Well, everybody always says, oh, I can't design, I can't decorate, I don't know how to do it, I don't know what my style is. But in a way you do. You just need someone there to kind of guide you, to help you find your voice and your style, because most people know when they go home, they want their house to feel relaxing or spa-like, or they might want their kids' rooms to be, energetic and happy. And so you have that inside of you, you just really don't know. And so I'm there to kind of just guide you and push you into what your style is, because it really is about your home. These are your spaces. They're not mine. I'm not living there. So I'm just there to kind of give you some good direction. And also I want your house to be something where in 5 years you're not going to be outdated. We don't want to go with a bunch of trends and do something that's flashy at the time but maybe isn't going to last 5 or 10 years. I'm there to help you and help you with your budget and make sure that we get the design that you want and need.
Society is changing so much. There's always this change somewhere. When we talk about accenting a wall,
Yes.
what would be your suggestion?
Oh, to accent a wall? Well, it really just depends on what the client is wanting to do. I mean, you can accent a wall in many different ways. I mean, wallpaper is amazing. I know people think wallpaper is kind of crazy now to think about that. We stripped wallpaper off, 5-10 years ago, and now we're putting it back. But there's some amazing patterns and murals or faux finishes, just color, anything, different sheens. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we can accent walls or create really amazing spaces.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I threw that question at you because I just had a conversation with someone that was talking about going back to wallpaper.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, wallpaper.
I know.
I hadn't seen wallpaper in years.
I know.
But things get outdated.
Yeah,
They come back
they
into
do come
style,
back.
and so much has really changed, especially when we're talking about fashion. We're
Yeah.
talking about home decor and things of
Yeah.
that nature. You got your contemporary, you got the traditional stuff, and so
Right.
I need you to do me a favor, because I know there are quite a few people that are watching and listening, and
Yes.
they're needing your services. So can you
Okay.
give them general information, Facebook, Instagram, website,
Yes.
phone number, anything that they need to get in contact with you?
Okay, so website is www.expressive-interiors.com, or you can also go to www.expressivebuilders.com. You can reach me personally at 936-689-1923, and I would be happy to help you. Facebook is Expressive Interiors by Christy, and I don't know what the Instagram is. I'm not as Instagram savvy as I should be. I know I need to do more on Instagram, but I know there is an Instagram out there.
Listen, this is what I need you all to do. I need you all, first of all, stay connected, and continue to follow KNLY 91.1 The Boss. But of course, all guest information will always be on my page, Orlando Daniels, at KNLY 91.1 The Boss is going to be on my general pages, Instagram, everywhere. Anything that you weren't able to get through Miss Christy, you're going to be able to get through me. So stay connected. Continue to follow us at KNLY 91.1 The Boss. We're coming to the end of the week, and I want you to make today a great day and a great weekend. You all be blessed. Love you much. Today's Entrepreneur signing off, Orlando Daniels.
Thank you.
God bless you.
You too.